Hey, it's Rachel, and I think we can all agree that we want our kids to be able to open up to us. We certainly want them to tell us the big things that are happening in their lives, but we also want them to tell us the small things, how their day at school was, or how life in general is going for them. Now, I will tell you there are a few reasons that kids don't open up, but I want to focus on one reason that I heard over and over from both kids and teens when I was a therapist. And that is they don't open up because of our response. When we have these big emotions, especially when we respond to them with judgment or anger or anxiety, those things shut kids down. So they don't want to tell us not only about that situation, but they don't want to come back to us later if they know we are going to have these big responses. So if you think about it, if your child comes home and they say, "Oh, I didn't do well on a test," we usually respond by saying, "What? You didn't do well? I told you should have started studying earlier." Or we say to them, "You didn't do well? What strategies are we going to use? How are we going to change this?" Our judgment, our anxiety, our anger, that again shuts them down and they're not going to want to talk to us. You know, for any of us, it's uncomfortable to be around a different energy than the one that you are in. Just as a silly example, let's say you're in a really bad mood and everything's just going wrong and you're just in this gray, dark place and you get in your car and you turn on the radio and it's a happy song. You do not want to hear a happy song. That's the last thing you want to hear. You want to shut that radio off right away because it doesn't feel good to be in a different emotional energy than someone or something else. And the truth is, when our kids are going through whatever they're going through in life that we want them to tell us about, they don't want to have to handle their lives as well as our emotions. They can't handle our emotions, so they will just avoid them. They really, in those moments, want to find someone who can help them feel supported and safe. And our judgment and our anger and our anxiety does not make them feel supported and safe. So how do we make them feel this way so they continue to open up to us? The first suggestion I have is when they're talking to you, try to match their tone and their cadence. So if they say something like, I didn't do well on a test today in school, slow down your tone and say something like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Maybe we need to think about new study strategies." So you're speaking slowly just like they are. Even if your child is anxious about something, maybe they're saying, "I'm really nervous about a test coming up." It's not that you have to get into that anxiety with them, but you also don't want to turn cold and say something like, "You're going to be fine." You want to get close to where they are, showing them that you can handle their emotions so they learn that they can come to you with their emotions. The other tip I have for you is if you're struggling to match where they are, if you really are becoming overcome with emotions, you need to learn how to make a plan ahead of time so that you can handle it in the moment. So if you are getting really upset every time your child talks to you about school or their friends, think about those patterns and make a plan ahead of time for how you're going to be able to handle it. Because if you are getting overcome with emotions, but you make that plan ahead of time, all you have to do is follow your plan. The irony is that we want our kids to be able to handle their emotions. We also need to learn how to handle our emotions so that we can be there for them. And what you will find when you match their tone and their cadence and when you learn how to handle your emotions is that they feel safe, they feel supported, and they're going to come to you much more than if you respond to them with judgment, anxiety, or anger. So I hope that gives you some ideas for how to get your kids to open up to you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at rachel@rachel-bailey.com. I'll see you next time.